This project almost took my sanity. We bought our house and we closed on it 2 weeks before we ended up moving in. So the week that we closed, we had 1 week that we were here. And during that week, we looked at our inspection report, said there was a leak below the tub. So we had to go ahead and replace or take out the tub, replace the subfloor, all that stuff. I went into this so confident, watched so many videos, knew exactly what needed to happen. Things just took longer than they should have. If you can't tell by how hesitant I am, I've never done demo before, but was definitely excited to tear some walls off. Things were coming off in big pieces. I was pretty surprised. Okay. I did feel way cooler than this looks. Taking a sledgehammer to cast iron tub. It was way harder to split than most of the stuff I saw online where it's just like, take your hammer to the brittle tub, it'll fall apart. It wasn't a brittle tub, it was in perfect condition. So I just had to keep swinging as hard as I could until eventually a hole was made. I would follow that along the edge. Just keep swinging as hard as I can. Eventually got to the point where there was a crack down the middle, lifted up half of the tub, and was able to pull that out. Moving it was another story. Luckily, the house had a really old dolly that was just in the garage. Probably shouldn't, I was definitely way over the weight limit of this thing being able to hold it, but it worked. Then we go in and start taking out the plumbing for it. As you can see, my head was already taller than where the shower was, so we're definitely going to move that up and hopefully get things working a little more. Now you can see the blue above my head there. And that's kind of what it looks like inside. We replaced the subfloor. Thank you to my father-in-law, Roger, who did most of the subfloor himself. Cut through everything, made sure it all fit, and yeah, took care of that for me. And then I am going in and putting up kind of a border around the bottom. This will help with the sealing it, waterproofing it for me. I also put in a curb there. It's 3 2x4s to cover up that 5-foot gap. And now just mixing up the concrete. I made some mistakes here. That is a whole bag. I am not quick enough to put all of that down. Half of that ended up going to waste, and then had to go and mix up a smaller batch with the second bag that I had and just do that multiple times until we had it all to cover before the concrete would dry, or not the concrete, but the stuff that I was using. Can't remember what it's called right now. This is not a tutorial video, as you can see. If you need that, I know there are plenty out there. I went ahead and watched a whole bunch of them. All this is going pretty smoothly. You can see we put in a spot for a nook there, and now I'm putting down the liner on the bottom to waterproof it. Just measuring it out here. Went ahead and cut it, and now I can put it in, make sure it all lines up. I'm using some go boards now. They're already waterproofed, and screw them into the studs there. And you can see here now, those are all up. We've got the nook in there and putting down the next layer for the flooring here on top of the waterproofed sections there. And I did make sure the first concrete that I put down, or oh gosh, I really can't remember what it's called, but made sure there was a pre-slope, made sure it met the requirements for the amount of slope needed per foot as we went further and further away from the drain. And this is what the product looks like before doing any tiling and before everything slows down. Now, before I'm doing anything, I am measuring out our penny tile here on the floor, making sure that how much I needed. I was able to figure that out pretty quickly. And then I'm going through with the tiles now. So day one of tiling was making sure that I had all the penny tile there. I did do the bottom row of the wall tile, and then the next day I was able to get going on the tile. You can see how messy I was. It gets better as I went along, but that added a whole lot of extra time having to clean. So if you do end up tiling yourself, be as clean as you possibly can. And you can kind of see as it goes along, I was trying to clean a little bit so that it would not take as long, but we are able to get all the tiling done. But yeah, definitely made a mess. Looking at the penny tile on the floor, I had to scrape around each little penny tile to really open it up so that it wouldn't just be grout down there. So definitely frustrating, definitely time consuming. Added multiple days because I had to clean the tile. Here is the clean tile now, and then I can add the grout in between the lines. It's actually really disappointing because I would do that, and then just again, you'd have to clean again. Just the cleaning part was so frustrating. You can see the before here of the penny tile, and here is me going through, and that's the after. So definitely a big difference. Really just make sure you're using the right amount of mortar. I used a little too much. Make sure you're using the right amount of grout. That one's a little bit easier to clean up than the mortar. So yeah, be careful with mortar. Make sure you're cleaning it. Take your time. And here are some finished pictures of the tile. It looks really good. I'm pretty proud of how it looks there. Now we just need to go in and add in our shower head. I have an extender here that also makes it a little bit higher, a little bit taller, because when it was straight out, it was kind of like right at my head. I wanted it to go above it. I am 6'7", so it was definitely important to get that as high as possible. Got our shower head up, got our handheld going in, and then I did have to cut a little bit of the tile here a little bit wider so that the plate could go on. I installed the doors there and just doing some final touches, putting the caulking in at the top, making sure it's all sealed, it's all smooth, it looks good. Got my scraper going along the edge to smooth out the caulking that I did up there. And here's the final product. I do really like our shower display there. As you can see if you look closer, it has the temperature, and I just turned it on so it's heating up has the temperature and the time frame, or the time length that the shower has been turned on. So actually sped up my showers being able to see that. And just here's a reminder of the before and the after. The side by side, definitely a big glow up. We are going to paint the walls in there, so those aren't fully finished, but the shower is, and it's definitely the nicest shower that I've used. And in total, it took almost 21 days of actually working on it. Other stuff also delayed it, not just the tiling, but a whole bunch of moving complications. But it is done, and I can move on relieved that it is over. Definitely don't want to do that again.